Yeah, hi, Mr. Daniel. So let us discuss a little bit about marrying the process of manufacturing with the project management. Now, actually, there is a paradox involved here because in projects, the outputs are always unique. That is what is taught by PMI or any of the standards. Whereas in manufacturing, the output is very standard processes. So, what is your motivation, or because I know that you are very passionate about this topic, and because you are talking about this very often. Uh, so, what is the benefit to project management when we try to adopt the best practices from manufacturing?
See, when we got into the project industry, our learning was we were deep inside manufacturing. So we realized that manufacturing is very process centric. Manufacturing has a very clear definition of every process, clear definition of the methodology, the resources, everything is defined. Second is most of the stuff is standardized. So because it's standardized and the process is enforced through proper systems, the chances of failure is less, and any failure that takes place, you can learn from your mistake and correct the process. So you're always on a continuous learning mode. So when we got into the EPC industry, we find that the processes were what was followed by an organization as they follow. So they do have a very high level definition of the processes which are defined by some standards like PMBOK or AAC, but people follow the processes as they evolve in the way they do projects. So very rarely do they benchmark themselves with the standards. That is the first thing that we found. And second thing is there was very little standardization. Every designer or every consulting company had the freedom to design anything based on the scope. As long as the scope is met, they were happy to produce a design. So we felt that if we can bring in the learnings from manufacturing, which specifically talks about proper definition of process and standardization, we can drastically improve the productivity in the project industry or the EPC industry. So which was one of the major motivations of getting into the EPC industry with 15 plus years of experience working in the manufacturing sector.
We were talking about adoption of digitization from manufacturing to projects. And we were talking about standardization stuff as well. Yes, I fully agree with you because I have had opportunity to see metro construction projects very closely. So most of the time they were adopting a lot of prefabrication into the project. So that itself is proof that okay, these things are getting adopted very fast into EPC projects.
Absolutely, because when there is a pressure of delivery, see, as you know, manufacturing is under tremendous pressure to deliver. So same way as projects also, they need to deliver faster. So prefabrication has become a way of building those. So what happens is the design is made, it goes into factories, it is prefabricated and shipped to the site, and only erection happens there. So customers are trying to reduce the amount of work happening at the site, because at the site you have accessibility issues, you need a lot of labor there, whereas at a manufacturing site you can use automation, robotics and all that. So it is moving extremely fast to the way the manufacturing business is. Now, one of the things that has not really happened in EPC industry is that in manufacturing, there was a lot of outsourcing to component manufacturers, and these components would arrive at this straight away at the shop floor. As you know, there are things like JIT and things like just in time, and you have quality systems like Kanban and things like that, which is used for measuring the quality of the data of the components coming in, and straight away they go ahead with assembling on the site. That is really not come, because that's a faraway thing, because you're talking about large large components. So I mean that will take a long time to go. But where is the automation really coming in the construction industry or EPC industry is that a lot of this monitoring activities, and also through using drones using, RFIDs, and those things are becoming very popular to reduce the people involved in monitoring the project. So in a construction related thing, the best you could do is prefabrication, and robotics and all that can be used there, and then manufacturing coming.
Exactly. So today morning I was talking to a project manager. So he was asking me this question like, what is the ideal frequency to track the critical path? And my immediate answer is, okay, if possible daily. But unfortunately it is not possible because the status updates happens maybe weekly or monthly still.
So so see, I will have a different opinion on that. See, frankly speaking, if we are working on an online system, so people don't update status, people just do their work. So what we have done in Wrench is exactly that. So people do their work, which means be it engineering, be it procurement, be it construction, except for construction where there's a manual update taking place where people have to enter from the site, which also you could automate it with drones and things like that. Once you get the data, so when you're looking at the critical path, see, I have a schedule and based on which I'm doing my job. Now, when I get my actuals, if certain things are delayed on the critical path, if it goes beyond a certain delay, non-critical items also will get critical because there is no float. So we are maintaining the data of early start and early finish, similar to a late start and late finish. So if the activity which was supposed to start has gone beyond the late start, which means the float is gone, which means it gets into a critical path. So these things can be automated in a big way through a system, so that the system tells a warning, gives you a warning saying that the items which were not on the critical path has also become critical. Right. So it should be less manpower driven, but by system driven. So if we are able to put in a proper process and automate the process by capturing the status from the source and getting the status, and then the system can intelligently think and give you warnings so that you don't get your projects delayed.
See, when I discuss with the project managers and director level people, still one of the major issues is lack of visibility into the project. Actually, it looks like a cakewalk. Okay, there are n number of stakeholders and there are n number of systems. It's about just integrating the systems, but still, it is a big issue when it comes to construction or EPC projects. Whereas in manufacturing, it is in a highly matured state. Why it is so?
See, as I said, when we in 20 years back when we were in manufacturing, as I said, from a design desk, the data would go directly to a CNC machine. Right. Or it will directly go into an ERP system. So that's a level of automation that was there, and now it is just getting better and better. Okay. Now, as you know, in construction industry, there are multiple stakeholders. Each of these stakeholders have their role to play inside the project. So everybody has disparate systems. So it looks to be a very difficult job to integrate everybody. Probably that is the reason why that is not taken off. So fundamentally what happens is, most of the organizations, as a first step of digitization, is about setting up a digital platform for collaboration.
Or is it because of this permanency factor? Because in manufacturing, even if they outsource things, it is a very stable team. Whereas in EPC, the teams are very dynamic. From project to project, these things...
But within a project, it is same, right? Once a team is set up, that same team works across. So the point is that, that importance of community. So now what is a real push for digital connection between all the stakeholders, which is seen as the most important thing, is because if you don't get information or if you don't get the data that you need to do your work, then you're stuck. And if you get the wrong data, you land up doing the wrong thing, and then you have to demolish it, based if you're using the wrong drawing. So most organizations look at that as a major issue and they try to fix it, and that is why they set up a digital platform for collaboration, and they consider that as a most important thing. I would say that is just one problem that we are solving, about providing information when you need it in terms of drawings and documents and all that, and you want to know what's going on, you want to have the data. And second thing is getting the right information so that you don't land up using a wrong revision or a wrong data due to which you make a decision. But look at the owner, the EPC or the consultant. Ultimately, all these organizations are doing projects to meet a schedule, meet a scope, and within a budget. Now, that I would say is extremely important. I would say the monitoring the cost and the budget is extremely important, because finally we need to deliver the scope. I would consider scope to be as if it's done. I don't want to even validate it, because otherwise you don't get paid, right? So when I look at the cost, monitoring cost and monitoring cash flow is an extremely critical thing for any project. The second important thing is monitoring the schedule to ensure that you meet the commitment that you have given to the client. So if you need to meet the end commitment of the schedule, you need to make sure that every deliverable, every package gets delivered on time. So the three things that we need is, one is monitoring the cost, second is monitoring the schedule, and the collaboration piece for information to be available, in real time. All the three have to go together.
And monitoring the cash.
Correct.
And monitoring the
That's
cash
part of the cost part of it. So I would say, though collaboration seems to be the very critical thing, you need to know that you need to monitor your project to be profitable. If you are a EPC or a consultant, if you're an owner, you need to make sure that you don't spend more money than you budgeted, period, and you have an idea about your cash flow when things get delayed. Yes. Second is monitor your schedule, because you want these things done at the time. And as I said, I already consider that the scope and the quality is by default taken care of. The collaboration piece is about sharing information and availability of information, so I don't have to ask people to get information. I can get information as I want, and I'm also getting the latest information. Okay. So this is unique about EPC, which is not so much in manufacturing. In manufacturing, they don't have to do this level of budget control and schedule control and things like that. It's once they start manufacturing, you have a machine, it keeps producing it. That's a difference.
And the projects are more of a mission critical thing. So to achieve something now, a lot of stakeholders come together and then work together. So in the spectrum of this temporary nature of collaboration for a project, now who should really drive this digitization stuff?
See, ideally the owners are responsible to make sure that there is a process in place, in which it says what needs to be done, who has to do it, by when it has to be done. There should be a clarity of that. Okay. Or it could be done by the main contractor who takes the ownership of doing this project. So one of them, either the owners.
Sometimes for owners, it can be a one-off thing. A project, at the end of the project, he doesn't have a future project to do maybe.
So today what happens is, most owners who are doing, so if somebody is in the refinery business, they keep building refineries, right? Unless they're doing a unique project. Okay. But I would say that they get a lot of value, because they can breathe down the neck of all these people and make sure that they're following the process, and they're doing this as per schedule. So if there is a variation, they get to know, they can take corrective actions, and also they can monitor their costs, because eventually if there is a delay, the owner has to still pay, even though there could be a dispute.
And the most important thing is the ability to forecast things.
Correct.
Which may impact his cash flows. And
correct. And it also, what happens is, tomorrow, let's understand one thing. If tomorrow this project cost is going to escalate by 50%, the owner has to shell out that money. The EPC is not going to do it. He won't have the money to pay for it. So ultimately, if it's a win-win situation where, a lot of owners put a lump sum contract and say it's your job to complete it within this cost because you committed to this. After a point, when the contractor is not able to sustain the business, he drops the project and goes out. Either he goes bankrupt, or he goes into a litigation, and nothing comes out of it. Yes. So eventually, if the owner has to get this thing done, the owner has to push for that. So the owner doesn't have to set up the system or process. They need to make sure that the people down the line have a process, and it is enforced through a system, and the owner gets visibility of the data transacted through that. That's it. And that once you get that, they know where were they supposed to be on a day and where have they reached, what is the variation. So they don't have to ask them for Excel reports to check whether things are going. They just look at a dashboard and just say if it's turning red or orange or whatever, they need to make sure that the actions are taken so that the project is going as per plan and within the budget. And they should also be able to get access to the latest information through the same platform.
So, by looking at things from the owner's perspective, now sometimes my usage of this infrastructure can be at its peak. Sometimes I may not be using it because a lull period for me. Now, is there any subscription model?
Yeah. So what happens is today with the world moving into cloud, you don't have to own all these things. You could just lease it out for a duration of a project. So you could have the infrastructure leased out. You can have the software leased out. So you just pay based on your usage. So it becomes very economical. And also, once your project is over, you can just get all the data out because you have a process by which how the handover should take place to the asset management group, of the owner. It can directly get moved from there. So it's a complete digital exchange between all the information, be it, you're doing it on 2D or on 3D, eventually all the as-built data can go back to the client and the client can have access to that information, as a handover process of the project at the end of it.
Thank you very much for this highly informative discussion.
Thank you.
We'll catch up soon with more things.
All right.
Thank you.